Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham,
Hey, y'all.
Tim Thurber,
Hello.
and this is State of Atlanta.
All right. I just want everybody to know that we did not coordinate, but we wore the only colors that we have for State of Atlanta polos, and we all wore different colors.
I've been waiting for this day. It feels like whenever we wear these, like there's always like two of us in blue or two of us in black, two of us in white. Yeah,
That's great.
I didn't even notice it.
I just noticed it, just like while we were dancing to the music, the intro music.
To be fair, I leave this blue polo on the chair right next to me right here.
To be fair.
Just
So
it's easy access.
Nice.
all right, so note to Ryan and myself: we need to either wear the whites or the blacks, and never the blue, because Tim will always just have his dirty, stanky blue
No
sitting
need.
right
Oh
there.
no, it goes right into
Like that,
the
David.
laundry right there. It's like 2 feet away. It's great.
Ah.
And that comes right
See,
back here.
I wore mine to work today. So
I wore this to work today. I was working from home, but I also wore it to daycare to pick up my kid, and to school to drop off my kid and pick up my So
well, as much shit as we give the team for wearing black all the time, the black polo is my favorite one. I do like it the best. Like I feel like I look the best in it. The white one I do too, but I haven't messed it up yet. I've only worn it about 10 times. So I'm due for a good stain at some
Maybe some Korean barbecue, get some of that oil splattered all over it.
point. Yeah.
well, you really haven't had the white for very many games yet, because I didn't get it to you guys until like the end of basketball season. So you haven't had a lot of games.
I'm gonna ruin this one before
yeah.
football happens. This will have a stain on it.
It's gonna have some wing sauce or some burger grease, or
It's likely gonna be grease, but yeah.
I hear you. Well, welcome back, guys. Another week. Not a lot of Georgia State to talk about. Sadly, baseball ended their season today.
Moment of silence for baseball.
In Georgia State fashion. I mean, a single elimination game in baseball just kind of defies, or is a spit in the face to what baseball is about. It's supposed to be about multiple games, getting your best players plenty of time, lots of numbers, stats, and all that kind of stuff. But these college tournaments, it's win or go home. Pretty much. I guess there's a double elimination in the
second
full squad. Yeah,
I think lots of like MLB fans can agree though, because like those play-in games for the playoffs are single elimination, and it's like that nobody likes that. Everybody is like, these are stupid.
Yeah, But that being said, some Twitter account, Sunbelt Syndicate, had tagged us in a post right when the game was starting, and they were kind of like, "Who we got tonight between Georgia State and Coastal, and then what is that? I think it's Old Dominion and USA."
Yeah,
and I was like, you know what? Honestly, I hate single game elimination for baseball. That being said, I like our chances a lot better in one game against Coastal than I do in a 3-game series. So here's to it. And of course, we take a 1-run lead in this. It was a good first 6 innings of baseball. Ryan, for someone who loves defensive football games, you've got to love 6 innings of no runs. That's got to be right up
Do
here.
I have to love that? Is that something to be loved?
You could flip it and say I hate it because it's not what I want in baseball. You want lots of home runs.
Oh, baseball, my big problem, and I don't know this about college baseball because I've never watched a game in my life. I've been to a few games, but I've never watched a game. Is the lack of hustle. I just feel like there's so many games in baseball that like, and again, college, I'm not 100% sure, but it feels like there's a bunch of games where like, it's like the ball gets popped up into the outfield and if it's not like right in that zone, they're not going for it. They're just like, yeah, I'll throw it to first. It's fine.
Yeah, so I disagree. I think there's always hustle in the outfield. I think there's a lack of hustle in the base running. Like if it's going to be a pop out and they're like, okay, yeah, he's going to catch it, then I'm just going to jog to first base. I'm not going to actually run this out. Whereas if he does drop it or something goes foul, whatever. And by foul, I mean just goes awry, not like actually a foul ball. You miss out on something that could have been like, I guess I shouldn't say outfield. If you have like a line drive towards like the shortstop or something, and he catches it, and you're kind of like just jogging to first base, but then it overthrows the first baseman, and you get on base. Stuff happens all the time. run the ball out, run the base out, get out there, do something about it. Right?
Well, I might become a baseball fan sometime soon. I've been to 2 Braves games this year.
And have you bought a Brave shirt yet?
Baby steps.
Maybe
Baby steps. You'll get
I was
there.
a little mad because this last week I went on Tuesday, and that's why we had to do the podcast on a different day. And it was Star Wars night, and my tickets, not the official tickets, but it said Star Wars night, and it had a bobblehead, and it said it on the spreadsheet for my work. But apparently, you had to buy special tickets to get
always
said
special tickets for it.
bobbleheads, and it wasn't special enough to have like primo chop house tickets. That's not special tickets. You have to get bobblehead tickets, and I didn't have that. But it was like a Clone Trooper bobblehead, and I'm like, I want that as a non-baseball player, baseball fan. I want and a Star Wars fan. I want this Clone Trooper bobblehead.
That is strange though, because I thought the bobbleheads were included with season tickets, and your company has season tickets, but maybe.
No, these were specifically like special. I went up and asked, and they were like, no, you had to get them, and they sold out, and like.
Well, it was a special night for a special bobblehead. Yeah.
So that's what it's like for Georgia State night. You've got to buy, like, your company's tickets don't qualify for the Georgia State seat cushion, which we all wanted so badly.
Gave out bobbleheads were like right at the front gate in previous years I've been and they just hand them out to people as they walk in.
It's the regular ones. Yeah.
Maybe that was when they were down here though, not at Truist Park all sold out.
Maybe they can give us new seats. We could just take them to Georgia State Stadium and just replace our seats with the seat they give us. I like that idea. Be really expensive though.
I have no idea. Did I just black out and we get into a new conversation about switching seats? I have no idea what just happened.
Yes, we're gonna switch out Center Park Stadium seats. They're gonna give us seats when we go to the Braves game, like literal seats. We'll take them. Yeah. It would take us 50 years though to swap out.
Oh, I see. We have to keep going to games, and then we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it'll never happen.
No, yeah. So. Bummer on baseball. They went up 1-0 in the 7th inning, and then the announcers either this is the end of the game right here, or this is just like popping the lid off the can. And sure enough, stupid Coastal 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th, 3 more in the 8th. Bus Lot boys could not recover. Although I did see some mouth feeding of gummy worms to the players that got on base.
Oh,
so.
nice.
That was good.
Baseball should be a shorter game.
They've done that in Major League Baseball. They've been making it much faster. I'm not a huge fan of the way they've made it faster.
Pitch count, the pitch clock.
I don't like the pitch clock. I don't like pitch clock at all.
Yeah, and it seems a little weird. Like sometimes they just reset it, and I'm like, well, wait, I thought the pitcher had to pitch. Like, what are we resetting it for? Like, it was already running. He was already on the clock. Why are we stopping and resetting it? Like, if the rules are the rules, but there's probably something going on I don't know about.
What don't you like about it?
Me?
Yeah.
I think one of the highest paid players in baseball are your pitchers, and we want to see the cream of the crop, the best of the best play. People love pitchers duels, or at least they talk about it quite a bit. And I want to see a Tom Glavine or a Greg Maddux, a John Smoltz at the peak of their game. Give them, the couple of extra seconds it takes. Don't rush them to do stuff. I want to see them play the game. I don't like batters just stepping out of the box because their sleeve went slightly down their shoulder or some crap like that. That's garbage. I also don't like, a bajillion commercials. So, but you're never going to get rid of those. Let's just make.
We could do like soccer.
Let's make the quality of the game less,
Yeah, but we could do like soccer and put like logos on the field, like superimpose them, and instead of going into like commercial breaks, you know what I mean?
Just play the commercial. Play the commercial on the field.
For all sports though, like let's have fewer commercials and do something like that. Like find marketing opportunities for companies to put their logo on the screen while people are watching, because already people are like, oh, it's commercial break, and they like dip out, they go to the bathroom, they grab another beer, they cook whatever they're gonna cook, So it's like if the game's going on, I'm still gonna be watching.
like basketball, where they had every ad opportunity in there possible, and the season lasted 2.5 years or something.
Well, basketball it's never going to happen because it's too perfect.
It's just too good. Although they did do something, I think they tried that. They tried to like do on-field advertising for like a Spider-Man movie where they had like Spider-Man designs on the bases, and fans did not like that at all. And it was only like for like a week of like the opening of the movie or something, and like fans revolted. They ended up not doing it or something.
Just superimpose it onto the field during, like, and make it a commercial. It's fine.
Or were they just pissed off that the bases were defaced with the spider webs on them?
Which I don't think they're defaced at all. I would love to have a Major League Baseball base with Spider-Man logo on it.
And I'm not saying in person. I'm saying just for TV people, like use it like a green screen and just like
they do that.
Put whatever you want on the field.
They do it on the background behind the batters. Those little advertisements you see for Shane Company, that's just a green like board. It's not when you go to the game, that's not a logo. That's just a green board, and I
don't think I've noticed that, huh?
Well, typically you're focused more on your drinking when you're at Braves games.
I didn't drink anything last time I went.
See, that's why I thought you wanted the pitch count to be thrown out, because you could have additional drinks. Because of the pitch count moving, you're losing precious time.
All right, here's my idea. If you're gonna have a pitch count at a Major League Baseball game, every time the pitcher goes over the allotted time, free beer. One free beer for everybody in the stadium whenever that happens. So they have a little ticket dispenser right in front of your seat, and it's just like at Chuck E. Cheese. It puts out an admit one sticker or ticket, and you go up to the beer guy and be like, "Hey, sorry, pitcher was late, so I get a free beer." And they're like, "You know what? You're right. Here, you get a free beer."
So I will, like, at my seats, I have been offered so many beers. The guy comes down frequently and is just like, "Hey, did you order this beer? Did you order this beer? Did you order this beer?" And it's over and over and over again. And I'm like, "No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't." And I'm like, eventually I'm just going to be like, "Yeah, give me the beer."
Well, you gave them your credit card as soon as you got there. And so they're going to charge you for those beer, Ryan.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
That's really good marketing. Oh, we should just change our podcast, State of Baseball.
State of baseball. state of more beer drinking. That's more appropriate.
That's where I thought you were going for sure. I didn't think you cared about all the other passionate stuff. Just 15 seconds is too short. The whole game's shorter. The whole beer drinking experience gets shorter.
Yeah, no, it's called the pastime. It's not called the like get this over with quickly time. America's pastime.
I did finally take a lap around Truist this last time because I had two kids with me, so I was like, "Oh, well, let's go on a walk to wear you out," And pretty nice stadium. I like the behind home plate, all the museum stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's great. I think the concourses are way small in comparison to what it was at Turner Field, but other than that, it's great.
That's true.
They are narrower.
The concourses are definitely smaller.
When you go to the upper deck level, super narrow.
Oh, I didn't go up there. Our waitress told us there were like there was like green space somewhere where kids could run around. We couldn't find that. I saw the like zip line and all that stuff, which is like, what the hell is this?
Oh yeah, that's
behind the chop house, or
that's what she's talking about.
I thought there was like a grassy area that kids could run around. So that's what we were. That's why we took the lap, was so they could go find kids and just go play.
Yeah, there's a grassy knoll with a book depository that other adults can get in little paint guns and just like pop rounds off at little kids. So it's fun. Knoll. All right, we've gotten way off course.
Where are we?
We're 14 minutes in and we've barely discussed anything. Although baseball is pretty much really the only Georgia State topic I had for tonight. There's a lot to talk about in college sports, but that's all I really got.
Did you watch the baseball game, David? I just want to know.
I did watch the baseball. I watched most.
That's the problem.
Damn it!
It's always it.
When we end up 1-0, I was like, all right, well, we usually give up a runner after we score every time. But then I was like, is David watching this? How many runs are you going to give up?
Hey, I asked the group chat whether I should watch it or not, and none of you guys replied. So I felt like that was
it's on us.
It's really on you guys at this point. So
yeah,
I saw all runs scored. I didn't see the entire game, but I saw all runs scored by both teams. So It was a good pitcher's game at the first few innings. Just
6 innings, right? Scoreless.
Top of the 7th was when the first run was scored. Yeah. No, I like to see a better end of the season tournament than just 10 teams and 2 teams that have to like make it out there and then just turn around and leave the same day. Like that's just with this play-in game. Why just take the top 8 teams. Either take the top 8 or what I think would be even better, take the top 4 and have a little series, like a little best of 3 and then a best of 5 for. I don't think you have that much time to do that. They like to wrap these conference tournaments up really quickly to get to the super region or the regionals and everything. But
fix that too, though. You could just tighten up the regular season a little bit and then move it back and expand it. Like, there's no reason that you have to do this very quickly.
I also agree with that. I think it could be done better, but oh well. So, all right. They've got the new stadium coming in. Recruiting. It's time to recruit some new players. Let them know what they'll be playing in a year. So hopefully we get some new guys in and have a good season next year.
And we don't know when. Like, there's no date on the breaking ground, right? Because I feel like we should all like celebrate. We should bring a bottle of whiskey and just like chug it, like each of us.
I am in. You had me at we should. So yeah, bottle of whiskey at Blue Lot, right there with Hank Aaron's wall right there. We'll just celebrate tailgate.
It's just gonna be like us and some random construction guy.
Look, come on, it's downtown Atlanta. There's bound to be some other just randos walking around there as well.
Well, and there's student housing right there. So
yeah. So the day of the groundbreaking, whenever that may be, we'll go down there with a fresh bottle of bourbon, and we'll just stay there with some Dixie cups, serving until it's gone. Everyone must be 21 or up, or hot.
Come on, you had to mess it up.
Or handsome. Sorry.
Yeah, clearly you understood my problem.
Very much so.
All right. There's some Georgia stuff. There's some Sunbelt stuff, and there's some NCAA stuff to talk about. Where do you guys want to go?
Like state of Georgia or like UGA?
Georgia?
Georgia stuff. There's
sounds
Georgia,
like that's the answer.
State of Georgia. The only thing is I didn't really realize this, but West Georgia is moving up to FCS ranks this year in the United Athletic Conference, which apparently is a conference in the FCS division. I didn't know
they weren't.
Yeah, no, they were like
D2
intramural or something like that for forever.
Well, there's D2, D3, and NAIA, right?
NAIA, and I think there's another version of that, even like below NAIA as well. But
intramural is like just unsanctioned completely. I mean, those are all like NCAA sanctioned. Those
club sports and
club sports
like that.
is that's just made up stuff. People just
it's just so funny to me that we sat there for so long in the state of Georgia, and you had UGA and Tech obviously being traditional college football. Then you had the trash down south that was doing whatever the hell they were doing in Statesboro for forever, and that was it. And that was Valdosta, was Division 2 or 3, whatever they were doing, winning national championships like crazy. But that was it. There was like no like Division 1 football outside of that. Then Georgia State comes along, plays not even a real season of football, moves up to FBS, and everyone's just been following us ever since then. Trash Down South moves up to FBS. Kennesaw State starts football, moves to FBS. Mercer starts football. West Georgia now in FCS. We're kind of trendsetters. Georgia State's kind of the trendsetters of the state of Georgia because like no one followed UGA or Tech around, but when Georgia State started, that's when everyone started doing football in Georgia.
We took the risk. We took the first step.
We showed it could be done. Actually, we showed how bad it could be done.
Yeah, you have to like prepare me for this kind of stuff because I want to make fun of it so bad. I just don't know how to. I'm just not ready for it.
I think when I moved here, though, I was thinking, why are there only 2 FBS teams when Florida has like 5?
Yeah,
it didn't make sense. Like talent-rich state, recruiting should be easier for the state of Georgia. I mean, it just didn't make any sense. But
so now
we're full.
Now Now we are full. Do you have any new reasoning? Have you figured out why that was the case?
I just want to say government and the poor.
Yeah, I think everybody.
I don't know, but maybe.
I think that everybody that works in the city of Atlanta and Georgia government are all Georgia fans, and that's why.
Well, when we had presidents who were like absolutely not. So I mean, there was like decades of that. You know, and even like Irby, the Crimson Panther, was I mean, that was because our president was a Bama fan. Literally,
that's true.
Like I mean,
we could have been absorbed into the University of Alabama.
But you would think that somebody who's like a really big fan of football like that would just like support us starting a football program. I guess back then we were still night school mode, so that doesn't matter as much. And then the previous president who was against it is the one who started football because pressure just got to the point where this has to happen. I mean, we are
given we burned the university down.
It was his last dying thing as he left Georgia State. Was like, fine, you guys wanted football the entire time. I'm out of here. Have it.
Fine.
Enjoy it. Yeah. No. You would think though, like you said, Ryan, with having a president that was such a big Bama fan that he would change the school colors to mimic theirs. That would have been a little bit more proactive on the sports thing, and maybe not starting football, which would have made a lot of sense, but funding the basketball program, trying to turn that into something that was actually legit way back when, instead of waiting. We didn't give a crap about basketball until we got football, and really, even then, had we hired just another Georgia State level coach instead of Ron Hunter, would we still care about basketball like we do right now? Ron Hunter is the reason why we have basketball fans. Ron Hunter is the reason why that convocation center is there. You could say it's that Becker wanted a place for us to graduate kids, but no, it's because of what Ron Hunter did with that basketball program. It's all because of him. So, what could have been? What could have been? Yeah. So West Georgia Wolves, who used to be the West Georgia Braves.
I've only known them as the Wolves.
I honestly did not know what their mascot was.
I don't even know where they are. I'm just going to
assume they're in Western Georgia.
Carrollton, Georgia. I dated a girl from West Georgia for like 2 dates, 3 dates, something like that.
It's actually not that bad of a drive either.
It's not close. It's not
like a good drive, but it's not a bad drive.
It's closer to the Bama state line than it is to the city of Atlanta, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's like right on the line, I think.
Yeah, it's not on the line, but it's close.
It's close. It's really close. Yeah. But that's not that far from city of Atlanta. I mean, east-west wise, we're not that wide right here.
Right. Oh, so I do have. Go ahead.
I was going to say they either joined at a really good or bad time, depending on how that lawsuit shakes out.
The lawsuit transition. There we go, Tim.
Yeah,
right
into
it. House versus NCAA. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that one. The House versus the NCAA.
It's not the house. It's not the House. It's a player
house.
Oh, okay.
Last name is. I actually looked that up. I was like, which house is like? I was like, is this a House of Representatives?
House of Trades.
That would be really weird if the House of Representatives sued the NCAA, but that would be kind of cool too.
Well, you would think it would be like USA versus
or
NCAA,
maybe like house music.
House music against the NCAA.
What is it? The Man in Finance Trust Fund 6'5" Blue Eyes. It's a TikTok.
Nothing.
It's a TikTok. You old folk aren't hip with the TikTok dance
true.
Stuff nowadays.
That's true. I am definitely the oldest person on this podcast. That's true.
What do you know about it, David?
It's
a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's $2.8 billion. Well, to us, it's a lot of money. I guess to them, it's probably like whatever.
No, that's a lot of money for anybody. $28 billion, that's a lot of money. It doesn't matter who you are.
2.8.
2.8, but
still, anything over $1 billion, I think it's a lot of money.
Yeah, once you throw a B on there, nobody is saying. I mean, Bill Gates is like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, he was just Will Gates until he got until Microsoft started. Then he became Bill Gates because he was only a Williamaire until he became a billionaire.
Oh
so.
my god.
So
You've been sitting on that for way too long.
you've been waiting for that.
That's
Dude,
weird.
that is
you did just like
my-
have that in your pocket.
Do you have like
weirdly.
a separate note section for all your jokes?
That was my quick wit fueled by Miller Lite and vodka. So no. All right, so
That's some good shit.
Set the stage. We're talking about a lawsuit between some player and NCAA about revenue. The
Revenue sharing.
Revenue sharing the schools have been generating that they feel like has not been paid back to players that deserve it. And so the NCAA, along with the P5 director, what do they call them? Athletic directors,
Without any G5 present,
have had some backroom negotiations, and they're willing to settle. And the P5 programs are going to be on the hook for, was it 40% of the payout of the 2.8 billion, and
well,
the G5 programs and all the basketball schools are on the hook for 60% of
but
it.
the G5 programs are not even involved in these negotiations.
no,
Nope.
But it's a double whammy because the NCAA is going to pay 41% of it, but that's out of the revenue sharing, which that would trickle down to us. But then the G5 conferences or the 27 others.
So that's money we're not going to receive.
Correct. And
we otherwise would have.
Correct. And then on top of that, instead of the P5 paying 60% of the remainder, they're only paying 40%, even though the revenue sharing mostly goes to them.
Yeah.
Why is the singular school not on the hook for this?
Oh, because it's multiple. Like multiple people have joined the lawsuit. It's not just House.
Why are the schools involved not the ones on the hook? I don't understand why our school is on the hook when none of our players are suing.
Well, Georgia State specifically is not on the hook, but
Sunbelt is.
It's the NCAA that NCAA is the one being sued, and as a member of the NCAA, they're negotiating on our behalf.
I got it. This is like when people sue the police and they pay them out, and it comes out of like taxpayer money.
I never understood that.
Got it. It's unfair and stupid, but there's nothing that we're going to be able to do about it.
So when I first saw the numbers on the surface, I was kind of like, all right, well, that's fine. You know, I don't mean fine, but there's only so many P5 programs, and then in football you have just as many G5 football programs as you have P5, but then there's like a total of 300 and something basketball programs. So they're part of this. Division I basketball is part of this as well. It's like, okay, well, there's more schools, but then you start looking at the numbers, it's completely disproportionate. Like, yeah, there's more schools involved, but the amount of money, it's completely out of whack. They're having the G5 and the basketball schools pay way more per player than what the P5 is doing, and I don't see how that holds up. I mean, that there's just no way that works. It just doesn't. It can't happen. It can't happen.
It's going to happen. It already got voted through the directors group, and then it goes to the board of the NCAA next, which they're just going to rubber stamp it. Because I mean, all they're doing is just bending over for the Power Five. They don't want to ruffle the feathers to get them to leave sooner than they're going to.
Well, the NCAA is going to have to make some other changes then, because there are going to be G5 and basketball school programs that will be unable to fund all of their sports if they do this.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Do we know that? Do we know? I mean, like, have people come out and said that?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And it's not just, and it's it could be cutting scholarships, whatever, but there could be some programs that like what is it? Monroe, we love to beat up on them. Their budget is just, it's like a quarter or a tenth of what Georgia State is, and like we're and if they have to pay out $750,000 a year, that all right, you're not going to have any of your Olympic sports.
Just get rid of the head coach. They don't need that.
There's a great argument that to be made that Monroe just belongs in FCS though, right? Like, because it is about like whether you have enough money to compete at the level of all of these other people, and we are not competing at the level of UGA in that way. So we can mince that, but you should be able to absorb some of this stuff because it's going to happen.
Well, I mean, they're the schools that were getting the viewership and the TV. Most of the TV deals anyway, right? So why aren't they paying more?
Well, and the biggest problem is they're the ones making the decisions, right? So like G5, the G5 doesn't get a say, right? They get a person in the room to like raise their hand and make a point or something, but they're not making decisions.
No, there was no one in the room.
In this instance, there was no one in the room. However, when it does come down to like voting times, like they've been doing with the college football playoff or whatever, you do have your either your commissioner or your presidents that vote in these things. But it's also like that wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you don't vote for this, we're just gonna exclude you anyways. So just play the game, be part of it, and we'll keep you along for as long as we have use for you.
It's a really shitty system.
Well, also you made a good point there, Ryan. I think you did at least.
What? Say it again.
Why is it that why are you having these programs like Georgia State, Monroe, having to sponsor 15 or 16 NCAA sports just to be considered FBS when you've got Georgia, Florida, Bama, whatever, just raking in the money. And so now like your football revenues are subsidizing these other sports. That could be money that's going to football, and Georgia does not need all of that money. And I hate to talk about when money's coming in what someone needs or doesn't need, but we're having
but they got a surplus for sure. Like they've got more money than they know what to do with.
And the last thing I want this to come across is like I'm not supportive of all of the Georgia State players and all the different sports. That's not the case. But I'm saying is it's a bigger financial burden on your Georgia State and your G5 programs to fund your beach volleyballs, your soccers, your tennis, your golf programs, pay all that travel costs, do all that kind of stuff, your scholarships and everything with it, when that's just, Georgia loses more money driving to a game than we spend on all of our other Olympic sports. So
right. Yeah. No, you're right.
Oh yeah, what was that, Ryan?
You're right. David Brown is right about this.
About this one particular thing.
What was that you said about me earlier?
I said
what the fuck is wrong with this shit? You can't hear me, right?
I can hear you
now.
Can.
I just can't hear you. Awesome.
What?
No, I saw your private chat that said that your audio cut out, but I thought that meant your audio cut out, not mine. So are you back, Tim, or you're muted? So all right.
Yeah, you're muted now.
But Ryan, you have no problem hearing?
No. I that whole conversation happened just fine.
All right. Well, we'll see if Tim can figure some stuff out.
You said I was right about something.
I said I think you made a good point. I think that's what I said.
That's what you said.
I think you made a good point. Yeah.
God, I already forgot. Shows how much I actually care.
I do have a Georgia State thing that's not really in the news, but watching the baseball game today kind of annoyed me, and I think I want to talk about it because I've been drinking vodka since 4:00 today. I am sick and tired of seeing Georgia State abbreviated as GAST.
Yeah, gassed. It's weird.
Like, don't schools get the right to say how they are acknowledged in the media? Like,
what makes you think that our school isn't okay with that?
But so the Peach Bowl, media can't say Peach Bowl. They've got to say the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. They've got to include that sponsor name in there. Well, it's the same thing with naming your school. Back in I want to say early 90s, could have been the late 90s. I forget exactly, when Southern California wanted to rebrand from SoCal to USC. And there was a lot of at least in this area of the country, there's a lot of but USC is South Carolina. Like, how are we going to know the difference? And the media just said, nope.
Southern California.
Yeah, but there was a point when they were SoCal.
Oh.
And they decided they wanted to be USC, and that media just had to switch from calling them USC to calling them SoCal. There, you got him. And I don't know, why can't we be GSU? What's the hard thing? Why can't we just make sure, especially the Sun Belt? This is a Sun Belt tournament.
Wait, we are
GSU.
GSU, right?
Yeah, Tim, you had your audio issues. The point I'm bringing up is during the baseball game today, we are abbreviated as GAST.
The gas.
We should have control over that. Why are we not enforcing GSU? And don't say it's because of the Trash Down South crap, because they've already come out and said they're GS. They're not GSU.
Yeah, their official branding is GS for sure.
Right.
Aren't they like GASO though? A lot of times on these broadcasts,
it's the same problem. Not to defend them or speaking for them at all, but yeah, they get the same treatment that we do. They get
Dave's defending Georgia Southern right now.
No, to be fair, you can call them whatever the hell you want to call them. It should just be TDS all the time.
But on there, it should say GS like they want it to, like their official branding says it is.
Yeah, in the Sun Belt, out of every media endeavor, the conference Sunbelt should be promoting programs the way they want to see their name promoted, and
especially
that should be
when there's no conflict.
Is it them or is it the ESPN just putting that up there?
I don't know. All the banners I saw everywhere today watching that ESPN broadcast were SBC, Sunbelt everywhere. It should be controlled by the conference, by the schools. They should push the branding the school wants. Georgia State should be a GSU. Trash Down South can be GS or TDS as it's appropriate. Visitor, where appropriate. They just go with what they want to do. It makes no sense.
I kind of wondered who set those too, because I've seen that on all the broadcasts, and I've thought, I get why they're doing it. Gassed versus Gasow.
How does Lafayette get their name as Louisiana everywhere when their school's name is literally University of Lafayette at Louisiana? And we can't get GSU as our acronym.
Leadership, maybe leadership, or maybe the conference leadership. I don't know. I mean, I would like to see GSU up there and GS for Georgia Southern.
You make me athletic director of Georgia State for a day, and you show me a single game where the Sun Belt is abbreviating us as GSAT. I'm having Keith Gill on the phone immediately and be like, call the media booth right now and get this fixed. We are GSU. We are Georgia State University. That's our abbreviation. Go to the website. It's gsu.edu. That's how all of our branding's done. That's who we are.
Get that gas shit out of here.
Yeah, we can't control outside third parties. I think ESPN we could control, but outside third parties, other blogs and garbage crap like that, other sports writers, people, they're going to call it
there though. I've only seen it at the bottom of just like broadcast of our games.
Exactly. Yeah, get it right. It's Georgia State. It's GSU.
Yeah.
The only abbreviation I'm okay with for lengthwise on a broadcast is Georgia ST.
I was gonna say you're okay with that, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I'd be fine with that too.
That's fine.
Yeah, but gassed is a little. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, gas is garbage. Goss State is not a go. Not a fan with that either. So
GA State.
GA State, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm more okay with that than I am GAST. But
so if it was GASTATE, you'd be okay with that?
I'm more okay with that because GA is often how you abbreviate Georgia.
I'd be okay with that.
If we're gonna rank things, then Goss State is well above Gast.
But I haven't seen that though, so that's neither here nor there. But
the funny thing is, like when I really got into like college sports, it was through Virginia Tech, and they were called Va-Tech, and I thought Va-Tech sounded cool, but I hate Goss State.
But we're not Goss State. We're Georgia State.
You want
Georgia State?
You just want GSU. Just say it.
I want GSU.
But I mean, everyone's abbreviated in those things, so it's like get it right. I just it doesn't make sense that it's not right. Because again, we're not competing, right? I know we have our internet spats about the real GSU or whatever, and that's mostly died down as far as I have.
They're GS.
They're officially GS. Like their branding from their program is GS. I mean, there's also like Grambling State, but they're D2. They might be.
They're D1. They're just not. They don't have
Grambling.
They're D1. They just don't have like big boy stuff, right? Isn't Grambling? Grambling's got basketball, D1 basketball, and do they have football? FCS football?
They do. Yes.
Yeah, they do have football. But they are D1. You're right.
D1 FCS.
I thought so. Let's be really fair because a lot of people will just say like FCS is D2, and I'm aware of the difference. I really thought they were a step below. I really thought they were D2.
Ryan, here's how I go about deciding whether a program is D1 or D2. Have I ever heard of their name before? Probably D1. If I've never heard of them before, probably D2 or lower.
Yeah, I really did think they were D2 though. That's the thing.
Grambling State uses GSU football 01. As
Grambling State, I know this from trademark registrations. Grambling State owns the GSU acronym. It's not owned by Georgia State or by Trash Down South.
Yeah.
So can we buy it from them?
For $350?
Nah, it's just 3 letters.
Talking about not knowing programs, I did get in a little bit of a Sunbelt message board spat with some coastal dude talking about something about how how great they are, like how the nation knows them. I think this was like about rankings going into the college football playoffs or whatever, and their historic 2020 season. And I'm like, I guarantee you, if you ask the average football fan what conference Coastal Carolina is in, even after that 2020 historic season, half of them would say Conference USA, half of them would say Sun Belt, and then
half of them would say, I don't no clue what you're talking about.
And then a third half would say some FCS program. So we're going 3 halves there.
Yeah.
That's coastal math for you.
It's coastal math. That is kind of funny that someone you were having an active conversation about people knowing coastal because of that season.
I just threw that out. They talked about the name recognition, getting them somewhere, and I'm like, no one knows who the hell Coastal is. Like, I never heard of Coastal before they got talked about being added to the Sun Belt. And granted, I'm not the most knowledgeable person on college sports, but even I'm saying like your average, and I did go back and clarify, your average P4, P5 fan, if you ask them what division Coastal Carolina's in and which conference they're in, I guarantee you half of them get it wrong. They don't know that Sun Belt. They don't know it's Division 1. They think they're.
I think you get outside of the Southeast and no one knows. I mean,
they're not. A lot of people are like, who?
I guarantee there's people in South Carolina that grew up, they never went to USC, never went to Clemson, and they're diehard fans, and they think Coastal Carolina is Division 2. They would tell you they're Division 2.
They might think they're in North Carolina.
You
never know.
No, but the if you're not a P5, you're D2 is a very prevalent thought.
Sounds
like,
right.
They just don't know. They're just like, oh, you're D2.
Yeah.
FCS is like way worse. I'll say, like, people just think FCS is D2, but man, people also think G5 programs are D2.
Oh, so many times people like, oh yeah, didn't you guys move up to D1 recently? I'm like, we've never not been D1. We've always been D1. And you try to have this conversation with your Uber driver, and you're like, I don't want to call this guy an asshole because I don't want to ruin my 5-star rating. But you're a fucking asshole, and you don't know shit about college football stuff. Acting like ignorant.
Do either of you have problems when you're talking to people and you hear Georgia Southern and you want to say TDS out loud, but you're like, oh shit, I can't say that. They have no clue what I'm talking about, and it'll be offensive. I have to explain it.
Tim, I educate every person I meet about the appropriate name of the Trash Down South, and
even their own fans.
And I know that I do this.
Yeah.
I just call them garbage. So
you meet a coworker and they say Georgia Southern, they're like, oh, you're garbage. I got it.
I'm like, oh no, they're garbage. Not your garbage. I don't do that. But I'm like,
your school's garbage. Yeah,
your school's garbage. You shouldn't be so proud of it.
I've worked in the financial industry ever since I went to school at Georgia State, and I have never. I did work with one Georgia Southern grad, and I think he was fired. I mean, to be fair, I was fired from that company too. So they must have been App State fans. Anyhow.
All right. What else?
That's my rant on Georgia State abbreviations. This is a decent one. The CW channel, the local CW channel, they are looking to watch the frog. They are looking to add more live sports to their broadcast, and they're talking about buying out some ESPN Plus games, which could be Sunbelt games, could be Georgia State games, airing them on the linear, over the air.
They have over the air antenna. That'd be great.
Yeah, apparently you can get CW. Most major cities you can get CW, even like regional areas, you can get CW over the air. So they could buy out games for just to have some programming on Saturdays and Sunday. That's something they're actively looking into doing. But rumor has it, if they do that, then either be blackout zones, so that if CW is airing a Georgia State game here in Atlanta, then we would not be able to watch Georgia State on ESPN Plus here in Atlanta, which I think that's a load of horse shit, because not everyone has TV packages. They like Georgia State fans.
You just said it was over the air. Like we could just
yeah. Well, I mean, but if you have an antenna, if you want to do that, yeah, sure. But not everyone has. Like you don't even have regular TV, Ryan.
I have an antenna though. I could set one up. An antenna is cheaper than
it is
ESPN
cheaper.
Plus.
It is cheaper. It is cheaper. But for Georgia State fans that have bought ESPN Plus packages and been paying that $6 a month for all these years, just because it's guaranteed to have all Sunbelt games on it, and all of a sudden you get blacked out in your area
on ESPN Plus. So yeah.
Oh yeah. That's all I watch too. But
yeah, that's the reason too. I was just like, I've had big problems with ESPN Plus in general, because they did like the ESPN3 and then the ESPN Plus, and it was all very confusing about like what would be aired where and like what I got for the money. And so like I got really annoyed with it and just never did it until they created the like Hulu Disney ESPN Plus bundle, and I was like, all right, fine.
You got fine.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, I think that I'm okay with them doing it. I think it's a great opportunity to get games in front of more eyeballs, because you do have old school college football fans that just flip channels all day long, and they would love to see a Georgia State game if it's on there. But then if it limits the people that are paying for ESPN Plus to get that, who may not have another option. But I had a great idea. What if instead the CW picks up Georgia State away games on CW, and then we can watch those, because then watch parties, all the bars have CW, and we could do a watch party, and it would have the game without having to like bring an Apple TV Plus or Chromecast and crap
and like bribe the guy to let us plug it in
to break federal FCC law to watch a game at a bar.
Nobody has ever let us do that ever.
It's never happened.
I like the exposure for the conference overall. I think it's great. I mean, look, we got to get some kind of exposure. ESPN Plus is fine. I mean, I think it's just a way to get all the G5 to pay for ESPN Plus. I don't know, a lot of SEC fans are like, oh yeah, ESPN Plus, I got that. Like, they don't have that.
No, they're like, oh no, I had to switch cable providers because they don't have the ACC network.
Right.
I was gonna say, yeah, they have to get ACC and SEC network. I'm not jealous.
Yeah, I think, but if you get ESPN, you get SEC network. Isn't that part of it? I don't know.
I'm making things up. I just like the exposure for the conference, and then if we can get our games on there, hell yeah. I mean, McGee should be all over this. He should be promoting it.
Yeah, come on, AD McGee, where you at?
We need this. Get on TV every weekend. It's not just for us though. It's for the conference, right?
I mean, it's not just Sunbelt. It'd be any ESPN Plus programming. They're talking about all kinds of because ESPN Plus has FCS games as well. They've got those leagues going on. I don't know if they pick that up. I just want, they signed a deal with the Sunbelt Conference that all Sunbelt games would be on ESPN Plus, and that's football and basketball, baseball, soccer, tournament games. I don't want to lose that. Like if CW wants to pick it up and simulcast it, go for it. I'm all for it. But I also want to be able to get it on my subscription I've been paying for years. So
yeah,
I can feel it.
All right.
Yeah.
There's a couple other topics. We can probably hold these other topics over to either last call or next week.
I gotta be real bad.
All right. Sounds like Ryan wants to get out of here. There's nothing that's pressing until news breaks tomorrow morning and everything blows up. But
that's right.
All right. We're gonna go over to last call. Tim, I'll let you take us out of here.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna head to last call. Ryan's gonna go pee once or twice. If you like what you heard, join our Patreon at patreon.com/state.
If you don't, shut up.
I didn't want to go negative this week, but okay, thanks for the help. You'll get access if you sign up. $5 a month, cheapest entertainment possible. You get awesome group chat action, sweet merch opportunities with discounts, live streaming access to Last Call where we curse it up all the time, and if David is feeling nice, adult beverages at tailgates.
That's not really up to me. That's up to our sponsors.
We are cheap as shit.
If our sponsors are feeling nice, free booze at tailgates.
We've not
$5
renewed.
Huh?
We've not renewed for the next season, but I have all the confidence that we'll be getting it going again. So
huge asterisk on what I just said. Become a fan of the show. $5 a month. That's all you need. We'd love to have you aboard. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Peace.